morning, class. I'm Frank Barnett, and I'll be covering the beginning or basic dribbling skills today for you. And we're going to practice those to ensure that you have the techniques in your mind to understand what proper dribbling is all about. So first off, you need to understand when we're talking about basketball dribbling, how we actually use our hand in controlling the ball. So a lot of people think that they slap the ball like this. Problem with that is it's very hard to control the ball. So really the technique is that you dribble with your 5 fingertips like this. Rarely ever does your palm touch the ball. I'm going to show you a position up close of the hand with the ball as if you would be dribbling. If you notice, there's a slight gap. Between the palm of my hand and the basketball. Okay. The reason you do this is, again, slapping the ball or using the palm of your hand can allow the ball to go in a weird direction. Okay. So if you've got your fingertips on the ball, they can move very, very effectively at staying with the ball and directing it almost with your subconscious. Okay, so let me show you again, practicing with the fingertips. One thing you want to try to get to, and I know beginners can't do this, is you have to look at the ball when you're learning to dribble. But eventually you want to get to the point where you can not necessarily be looking at the basketball. So like this. Again, controlling it with my fingertips and not looking. But if you have to look, which early on in your beginning, as you learn to dribble, is you need to make sure you see the ball. So you can, looking at it is okay early on when you're beginning dribbling. Okay. Now that you've got that, you need to understand that you're not a one-dimensional basketball dribbler. In other words, if you're right-handed, you don't just dribble with your right hand. You learn, teach your mind to control the ball with your left hand. Same if you're left-handed, you don't always dribble with your left hand, you learn to dribble with your right hand. Okay? Now, the next thing we need to cover is you need to understand the proper dribbling height of a ball. You don't dribble way up here, like this. Can any of you think of why you might not want to dribble that high? Okay, good answer. That's a long time that the ball is away from your hand, out of your control, and your opponent gives him or her more time to steal the ball. So you want to make sure that your dribbling height is below your waist level. So somewhere around the hip area, like in here, this area right in here, just make sure that it's not up above your waist. Okay? Now, once you get comfortable dribbling, both right-handed and left-handed, using your fingertips only, then you got to understand the ready position, or the position of your feet for proper dribbling. When you're dribbling with your right hand, your right foot is slightly in back of or just behind your left foot, like this. Notice my knees are slightly bent, controlling the ball, keeping it very close to my hand, not allowing the opponent to necessarily have an opportunity to steal the ball. So if I'm dribbling with my left foot's slightly back. Okay? Left foot slightly back, dribbling with my left hand. Right foot slightly back, dribbling with my right hand. Okay? Next, you need to understand that you've got to be able to get it from your right hand to your left hand, or from your left hand to your right hand. With that said, there's a thing called crossover or switching hands while dribbling. So you need to be able to learn how to actually do this and still controlling the ball with your fingertips, like this. Notice my fingertips on the ball, changing foot positions. Okay? Very important. Because if you're dribbling just like this, the ball is more in front of you and it gives your opponent more opportunity to steal the ball. Whereas if it's away from your opponent, it's harder for them to get through and they're probably going to wind up fouling you or whatever. So you keep the ball, you'll get to shoot free throws and you win the game. Okay, class, now that you've got the basics of dribbling, both hand position, stance, height, and movement, we need to understand switching feet and those type of things. You've got to get to the point where you're no longer stationary. So you've got to learn to move with the basketball. I've got a couple of drills that I'm going to teach you today to practice at home. You need to pick a very safe area that's out of the way of moving cars or anything like that. It's a very flat surface if possible, smooth, like a basketball court or something like that, or a driveway that's safe. That's the main thing. So here's one. You need to understand, you need to be able to move the ball, so I'm going to give you some practice drill, which is walking down one way, dribbling with one hand, come back, dribbling with the other hand, because you're not going to be, you don't need to be a one-dimensional basketball dribbler. So here's a way to do it. I'm going to do it in a very short area, but yours will be much longer, as long as you can get, that you're comfortable with and safe and that type of thing. So you dribble one way with your right hand, turn around, dribble back with your left. Both directions while walking. And once you get comfortable with walking and dribbling, then you can speed it up a little bit and you can do a slow jog. Again, changing hands. Okay, you can actually get to the point, hopefully, where you can run and dribble, and it's at that point that you become a much better basketball player. It's harder for anybody to learn to steal the ball from you. You're dribbling with both sides, just like you're shooting with both sides. Now that you have all these skills in your mind, it's your turn to practice.